Good afternoon. Welcome to a special edition of Around Town with me, Jim Fazio. I have two special guests here today going to be talking about the Feast of the Three Saints in Lawrence. It's our 99th year. And our special guest here is Tony Palmisano, who is the president of St. Alfio Society, and Joe Bella. He is a member. Hello, guys.
Hello, Jimmy.
Jim.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk to the folks of North Andover, my former community. I love the town of North Andover.
Yeah, it's a great town.
It's a great town.
Yep.
So I have a lot of special memories. I lived here for 10 years, but 3 years ago I moved up to Wyndham.
Nice.
Not so nice.
No?
No, I
It's not the towny
yeah,
look.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have a lot of friends in town, and I like North Andover. But anyway, thank you for the opportunity to
welcome.
talk about the feast and what goes on right down the street here in Lawrence. And it's, as you said, it's our 99th. This is our poster this year. And we'll talk about all the activities in a moment and times and dates, but it's back to 3 days. We're back to 3 days. Oh, and for those folks out there in the town of North Andover, Jimmy is a past vice president, and he's a member as well of the St. Alfio Society, so I want to thank him for all his years of service to the organization. And this year, Joe Bella, my friend here, Mr. Bella, who's the head of the raffle tickets, and hold up the raffle tickets, Joe.
Thank you.
There you go, Joe. So Joe has been kind enough to head up the raffle committee. So if you come to the feast, one of the primary fundraising vehicles is our raffle. They are it's a book of 7 for $10, and we have 3 prizes. What are the prizes this year, Joe?
First prize is $5,000 cash. Second prize is $1,000 cash, and third prize is $500 cash.
Right.
And again, the tickets are a book of 7 for $10, and they're $2 each ticket. It's $2 each.
And you can get these tickets where, Joe?
They are available as of now at Branco the Florist, located at the northwest intersection of Essex and Newbury Streets.
In Lawrence?
In Lawrence. In Methuen, Right Way Travel is also selling our tickets, and located on Merrimack Street, Route 110, Methuen.
Right. But if you come to the feast, and hopefully everyone who sees this comes to the feast, they'll be available at the feast at different locations. So why don't you tell everybody where the locations are at the feast?
Yes. To the right of the bandstand, which is located on Union Street in front of the Everett Mill, and also in front of the Society building on Common Street, basically to the left of the building on Common Street itself. We have large tents. You can't miss us.
Right.
With large signs, raffle tables.
So you are selling on the side of the bandstand again this year?
Side of the bandstand.
That's good. It did good last year, didn't it?
Yes.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
That was always a good spot. You couldn't hear, though, sometimes, but it was always a good spot. Tony,
Yes.
why don't you explain to the people what the feast is all about and what it entails?
So a little history for those folks. This organization came about because when our forefathers, grandfathers came over from Sicily, one of their traditions was this feast in a town called Trecastani in Sicily. And that feast has been going on literally for hundreds and hundreds of years. But in the year 1923, we have the feast here in Lawrence. And the reason that it was that, because most of the people who came from Sicily to the Lawrence, Massachusetts, worked in the mills. And the only time they had was over Labor Day weekend. That's why our feast is Labor Day weekend. But over in Sicily, the feast day is May 10th. That's the day they celebrate. So the tradition has been passed on and has gone from generation to generation. The principles of the feast are pretty much faith, a strong belief in Christianity, in the faith of these 3 brothers who were martyred by the Romans for their faith. So that is the first principle. The second principle is really about tradition. A lot of the traditions that we have here in Lawrence are similar but different to what goes on in Sicily. And then the third major component is really family values, right? We're all about family values, about, strong families, taking care of each other. We call each other brothers through the association. We are currently at 162 members. 162 members strong. I am, as Jimmy had mentioned earlier, I am very honored to be leading this group of men. I'm very proud of the accomplishments, the hard work everyone has put in, the dedication they have, not just to the society, but to the saints, but more importantly, the faith. And I have to, yesterday, Joe was with me, and also Father Francis, who is a Franciscan, and he has, and with his Franciscan brothers, they have taken over the what was Holy Rosary Church, then got transitioned into Corpus Christi Parish, and now it's Holy Rosary Shrine. Mm-hmm. So really quickly, what happened there is that at the end of last year, Father Mon, who was our pastor, who was an Augustinian, retired, and Cardinal O'Malley, who was the head of the church here in the Boston Archdiocese, was looking to find another priest, another Augustinian, to replace Father Mon. Unfortunately, he could not. What he then did was he reached out to the Franciscan friars that were in Lawrence, already doing missionary work in the city of Lawrence, and they accepted the mission of coming to Holy Rosary and turning that into a shrine. So we have built a very strong relationship with Father Peter, Father Francis, Father Andrew, and the other brothers.
It's stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever, and it's really been a fantastic faith-based initiative. Like every month we're doing coffee talks with Father Francis. He is now our chaplain. And then we instituted once a month, we do these monthly dinners to bring the members together, to develop stronger relationships, stronger bonds. So it's been a very exciting 8 months, and we really look forward to this year's feast. And as I mentioned earlier, we're back to 3 days. So it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, right? And then next year, it will be a 100th, and we already have plans for that, which we can talk a little bit about that. But really want to thank you for the opportunity again, Jimmy, to come and talk to the folks of North Andover, because we're literally a mile and a half down the road.
Right down the road.
We're right down the road. So we really would like everyone, we welcome everyone, and I do the cable access TV tour every year. Yesterday we were in Lawrence. Today we're here in North Andover. On Friday we'll be in Methuen. Next week I'll be in Haverhill. You don't have to be Italian. What you have to be is somebody who likes to have fun, someone who likes food, someone who likes entertainment. And we'll talk about the entertainment schedule in a moment. And if you believe in the mission of what we do, and Joe and I talk all the time. And one of the things that we talked about is oftentimes when we talk to people about the raffle, one of the questions they ask us is, "What, Joe?
Where does the money go?"
Where does the money go? And so, yes, after the money goes out from the prizes, the money that we raise goes into other charitable organizations here in the Merrimack Valley, and as well as scholarships. We have a very nice scholarship program, and this year we awarded, again, 6 scholarships to local high school students, of which the North Andover high school graduates are eligible to apply to those scholarships. So if you take nothing else away from this interview today, if you are a incoming high school senior at North Andover High, next spring, go to your guidance counselor and he'll have applications for our scholarships available. And if you take the time to apply, then you have the opportunity to win a scholarship. And we are very proud of the work we do with our scholarships. I'm very proud of Paul Blaze, who's been handling our chairman of our scholarship committee for like the past 10 years. Yep. So again, we'd love you to come to the feast, but if you hear anything, if mom, auntie, uncle, anyone hears this, have your North Andover senior apply for one of our scholarships.
Right, right. And Tony, there's a lot of people that live here in North Andover that don't even know about the feast, and it's hard to believe because we're right down the street.
Yeah, and
I mean, it's like that's why it's always very important to get the word out, like we're doing today.
No, and I appreciate that. I mean, I think we've done a good job of social media. We don't have 100,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars to advertise with, but we try to do the best job we can, and I think we do an effective job. Our website, we'll talk about that. If you have any questions, we're going to be talking about a lot of details in a moment, but if you have any questions about anything, go to our website, which is 3saintsinc.org. All the information's on there. It's very timely. Even the application for the scholarship's on there if you just want to pull it down from
Right.
that.
Right.
You know, David Cucciaro and his daughter, they've done a fantastic job of
Unbelievable.
updating the website and keeping that up to date. But again, we're back to 3 days. So one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to talk a little about our schedule. And then I can ask Joe to kind of chime in a little bit as well. But so we start our feast at 6 o'clock, and we have a parade. It starts in front of Lawrence City Hall with all the dignitaries and officials and members, and then we march.
On Friday.
On Friday night. And then we have a beer and wine tent, so if you want to come down and enjoy a sausage sandwich or a meatball sandwich or a lasagna dinner or whatever, we'll have vendors there for all types of foods and pastries, and you can have the beer and wine tent, which is in our main parking lot, which is really the Holy Rosary Shrine. It's our Tre Santi Cafe area. And then at 9 o'clock, we have the B Street Bombers, who they are a local favorite band. I really believe John Tomaselli and the musicians, they pretty much every year they play at the feast, but they're going to be opening up the main entertainment Friday night. Again, as you know, Jimmy and as Joe, all the entertainment's free. So entertainment's free, parking's free, you know, obviously, all the other activities, we'll talk about those activities, are free.
And all the entertainment is on our main bandstand.
And all the entertainment's on the main bandstand this year, which Joe mentioned earlier. If you are at the main bandstand, if you want to buy a raffle ticket, there'll be a raffle ticket booth right there. So that's Friday. So we have a lot of entertainment on Friday, and then we move into Saturday. Saturday feast opens at noon. Part of the partnership that we have with Father Francis and Father Peter is really working with the cultures. So the Holy Rosary Shrine is a shrine. So we have parishioners that are from the area, but people outside the area. They have a very large Hispanic population that is part of that shrine now. And when I became president early in the year, I said to Father Francis, how do we build the bridges so that way the Hispanic folks that are part of the shrine feel welcomed? And so we are really working on it. So one of the things that we're doing is the head of the Spanish music, a gentleman named Roque, is performing. Apparently he is a very well-known musician. So it's not on the poster because this just happened in the last couple of weeks. He is going to be performing at 1:30, and that's something that's very exciting.
On the bandstand?
On the bandstand.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently there's a network, a social media network of people that are very, very familiar with his music but really like his music. So I expect that to get really good support.
Sure.
So I'm excited about that.
That's nice. That's a nice extra thing. That's
Nice
excellent.
gesture. And then the next thing is Acting Out, which is a theater company in Lawrence. I think some of you may or may not be familiar with them. They're back. They were here 3 years ago, pre-COVID, and they did some performances with fun. There were a lot of kids, so they're doing a performance at 3 o'clock. And then at 4 o'clock, there's a group called the Markers. They're going to start doing some music. And then at Something Else is back at 6 o'clock. So there's Mass at 5 o'clock. Then at 6 o'clock, Something Else is performing. And then after that, we have, in my mind, as a member, to me, there's the two highlights of the weekend for us as members. So what happens at 7:30, Joe?
The Torchlight Parade,
On Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Yep.
Yep, one of the two large events for that weekend.
And it takes place on the corner of,
Common and Newbury Streets.
right.
Right.
It ends there, but it starts at different
It
streets
starts at the streets.
initially,
Yeah, right, exactly.
and
yes.
they all converge and meet at the intersection, Common and Newbury.
And we do
And it's a blast.
yeah, it is. It's a
Literally,
really good time.
it is a blast.
Okay, so I know where I march. What street you march on?
I don't march because I'm busy with the.
But where would you march? You be Newbury Street?
Yeah.
I used to have Newbury,
You don't march here?
raffle table,
Okay.
busy.
Yeah, I would
So
be
you're
Newbury
not
Street.
Jackson Street?
No,
Okay.
No, someone
And you're
else.
not Union Street?
No, what are
No.
you?
Newbury.
Newbury Street.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I remember you.
So what happens out there, so this is sort of very symbolic, right? There's three brothers, they merge so what happens is that we have the membership really divided among three groups, right? There's a group that starts on Jackson Street and marches to the intersection at Newbury and Common. There's a group that starts way down on Newbury Street that marches to the intersection. And then the third group starts on Union Street and marches up Common Street and meets. And so we all, which I think is always comical, how we're trying to coordinate, how we're always trying. This is the funny part of the weekend, right?
Yeah.
We're all trying to coordinate getting there together
At the same time.
at the same time.
I
And
don't
we're
think
all,
it's ever happened.
And we all have flares, and we all have walkie-talkies, and oh my God.
You can see us coming.
It's
It's something to see.
it's something to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you've
it's
never seen
it's
it.
really
And as it gets darker, things get brighter.
yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes.
really a visual. It's a really a visual, stunning
Yes.
sort of experience. And
Yes.
it's a lot of noise, a lot of cheering, a lot of, and then at the end, there's something like I think it's 100,000 firecrackers.
Oh
went
yeah,
off.
the firecrackers that go off in Tripoli's parking
Yeah,
lot.
I want to say it's like 100. It's 100,000 firecrackers that are lit and
Right.
sort of finishes the end of that sort of celebration.
And there are some aerial shots we do now too from there.
And we do some aerial shots and so forth and so
Yep.
on.
Yep.
So that's what, like you said, Joey, that's one of the highlights.
Yep.
So this just happened. There's going to be a special presentation that we just received notice of, and which is really exciting. So at the end of the Torchlight Parade, so approximately 8:30 on the main bandstand, there's going to be a special presentation that's going to be made, as well as an appearance by Sully Erna
Yes.
from the local musician. So if anyone is interested, and then my understanding is that there'll be some music played, and then that presentation will take place on Saturday night, again approximately 8:30 on the main bandstand after the Torchlight Parade. And then once that's done, then the featured entertainment for that night is a Rick Larimore, who does a Rod Stewart tribute. And I've not seen him, but I like Rod Stewart. If you folks out there like Rod Stewart, please come out. He performs locally at Blue Ocean, and then the place up in Derry. What's the theater in Derry? Tupelo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tupelo.
and so again, if you were to go buy a ticket for him, it'd be like $30-40 for a concert ticket. But now
yeah.
It's free.
He's performing at the feast for free.
It's a freebie.
So that $30 or $40, whatever the ticket cost would be, now you can come spend that money at the feast and get something nice to eat and have a beer and listen to the Rod Stewart tribute show.
Yep. Yep.
So that's so that was Friday. That was Saturday. Sunday again is really the holy day of faith for us. We start off with the Mass at Holy Rosary Church, and then acting out will be performing at 2 o'clock on the bandstand, and then at 3 o'clock the saints come out of the church. So last year, because of the fire to the rectory and the church was still under repair, the saints came out of our building, but about a month or so ago we brought them back. So they're back at their home, which is the lower church. They'll be coming out of the church at 3 o'clock. So what happens at 3 o'clock, Joe?
Moment of glory.
No, not
No.
at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, the saints come out of the church.
The church.
Right.
Yeah.
Which leads to
No, well, what happens when the saints come out of the church is that they have the fireworks go
a big
off.
celebration.
All
Actually,
confetti gets
actually
blown.
they're coming out of the
streamers.
shrine. It's the shrine.
shrine now.
Yeah,
We
the
can't
shrine,
say church.
excuse
That's right.
me.
Holy Rosary
Shrine.
Shrine. That's
Shrine.
right.
That's right.
Okay, and then the procession begins.
Yes.
But something different this year.
Go ahead.
There'll be a blessing.
Oh,
Before
that's
the
right.
saints are actually
Right.
put on the Vada.
That's right.
So the other night, actually it was a week ago tonight, so as Jimmy and Joe know, pretty much starting with the middle of July, we have weekly meetings to go over details for the planning, right? And then, the lights start going up, and so at the end of the meeting last Tuesday night, myself, Alfred, and Dominic, oh, by the way, I have to say this, a lot of what has transpired in terms of sort of building this bridge between us and the Franciscan really was the work of Alfred Laspina
Yes.
and Dominic Messina.
Yeah.
So I really need to thank those two for all their efforts building this relationship. So we, Alfred, Dominic, myself, were talking to Father Francis, and we were talking about a few things and some ideas. because I said to him, I said, are you excited about this year's feast? And they're extremely excited, but do you have any questions about the blessings and all that? He goes, and he thought there was a blessing before the saints came out. I said, no. I said, but that's a good idea. So I said, we've never done that. So what's going to happen is at around 10, about 2:50, 10 minutes to 3, when the gentlemen that are going to be on the Vada go to the Vada, right before the saints come out and we start ringing the bell, he's going to give us a blessing, which I think is a nice little gesture. And there's a couple other little things that are going to happen that are more sort of spiritually based. We can talk about that in a moment. But yes, Joe, that's what.
And just the Vada.
Yes.
Explain to the people, the Vada is it's a cot.
It's a wagon.
Right, a wagon that the saints come out of the church.
That we
and
process
they're
through the streets.
put on this
Right.
Vada.
So when you want to make your sacrifice or your prayer or your dedication, whatever adjective that you want, the people come up and we say Viva San Alfio, and this year we're also going to allow the kids back up on the Vada.
Last year we didn't because of COVID.
Yeah, and that was the right decision.
Yes.
I think it was. I mean, I really do believe that people have to make that decision for themselves.
That's right.
I also feel like it was a transition year for us.
Right.
But I think we're back, and the crowds are bigger, people are comfortable, and again, it's a virus, right?
Right.
We're going to live with COVID really for the rest of our lives.
Rest of our
But
lives.
the most important thing I think is that most of us have been vaccinated.
Right.
And so if you do catch COVID, I hope nobody catches COVID. But let's be honest though, you're probably going to wind up with a cold.
Yep.
Hopefully that's if the worst case scenario. But the truth of the matter is that we're taking precautions too.
Exactly.
So we'll have hand sanitizers and things, but we're trying to get back to normal as closely as we can. So we are going to have the kids on the Vada this year, and so forth and so on.
Now this Vada is pulled around the city of Lawrence on the streets of the old Italian neighborhoods that have been doing it now for 98 years.
Yeah.
This will be our 99th year.
Right, but we didn't do it the one year because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the 99th year.
Yeah, 2020, we basically had a drive-by ceremony.
That's what it was, and it was nice. We had a
was nice.
lot of people come by for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a big surprise,
Yeah.
and it was nice. That's what people think of these brothers.
Right,
Right.
and you're right, Jimmy. We decided, and just to go back for a moment, because I think it speaks volumes to the faith that the people. Sometimes can you see the forest from the trees, right? So we're so close to this. It's so impactful in our lives. It's so part of who we are. We don't really sometimes see the impact that these three brothers, these saints, have on other people in their lives. And it was clear in 2020 with that drive-by for 3 hours when you saw a steady stream of cars coming, and you realized, wow, people are really dedicated to these saints.
Very dedicated.
More so than even we know, because we're so close to it.
It was a good feeling, a
Yeah.
really
Yes.
good
Right.
feeling.
Right. And then last year we had the 2 days.
Right.
But I also think, honestly, there was still a lot of hesitancy
There
with
was.
COVID.
Yes.
The vaccine had just come out. There was still some hesitancy. But I do believe that this year we're going to see a huge turnout.
It's going to be strong,
Yeah,
very strong.
and I feel that way for a couple reasons. I'm traveling more. I'm not flying as much, but I am traveling, taking Stavik, and I think that's going to help us. I think people who normally would not be here for the Labor Day weekend because they're away are going to be here, and I think this is an opportunity. If you've not been to the feast, and I'm talking to you folks out there in North Andover. If normally you would be away, but now you're staying because of gas prices or airline prices or any of those other prices that are very high, and you're local, then come out for one day and celebrate with us. Again, I mean, we really do have a lot to offer, a lot of activities, a lot of entertainment, and we would love to have you come celebrate with us.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
So I'll wrap up, if you'd like, just the rest of the schedule. So as Joe had mentioned earlier, Rico Ba, who is a North Andover resident, right? Ralphie Babagallo lives in the town here. He's performing at 4 o'clock on the main bandstand, and then around 6:30 is the Moment of Glory. So why don't you tell everyone what that is, Joey?
The Moment of Glory is a spectacular event which we look forward to each year. And again, when the Vada, the saints are around the neighborhood, and then they end up in front of the society building on Common Street. And what happens is an angel is dropped down right above the Vada. Drops down, and the ceremony is, takes place complete. And what else happens?
We do.
So we do the music, the cantata.
music.
There's a blessing. So
Yeah.
I believe Father Peter, who is he's the head of the shrine. So
Right.
he will do the blessing.
Yeah.
Then we play music, and then once that's done, we release the pigeons.
Three
pigeons,
hymns, the
that's
three
right.
hymns of the saints,
Yeah.
Then we release the
pigeons,
pigeons,
which
which is symbolic,
right, of going up to heaven.
heaven.
Yep.
And then there's
let
a
go all those-
massive balloons, balloons,
Oh,
and
the
then
balloons, yeah.
right, and then there's a massive confetti and aerials, shots, and fireworks, and
it's
everything
huge.
else.
It's
yeah.
It
big,
is
big
huge.
celebration.
That's right.
Yes.
If you've never been, please.
Yeah.
It's something to see on a Sunday afternoon,
Right.
starting at 3 o'clock when the saints come out.
Right.
You'll never forget it. You'll
Right.
never forget it, and you'll feel blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It really is an emotional feeling.
Spectacular.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
And so that's that's really the highlight for all of us, right?
Yep.
And then
Definitely.
at 8:30 that night, I'm very excited about this show. We've been pushing out entertainment through social media and Facebook, and the one show that seems to be getting a lot of hits, according to David Cucciaro, is this No Shoes Nation band. It's a Kenny Chesney tribute band, and apparently there's been like thousands and thousands of hits about people interested going. So I'm very excited about that. Trying to have different kind of entertainment to appeal to different sort of demographics. And again, the beer and wine tent will be open. So if you come
Nice
early,
cold beer.
you can have a beer, grab a nice sandwich, listen to the free concert, have a good time. And then at the end of that show, what happens at 10 o'clock, Joe?
The raffle drawing will take place. And I think you do the actual,
Well, yeah, we'll
Choice of
we'll figure it out.
We draw the ticket in
Right.
front of the
Right.
bandstand.
and the winners will all be notified
Right.
immediately.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And if for some reason it's not one of those raffles where you have to be present to win.
No.
If you're not there, that's fine.
Right.
We'll notify you, and then we'll also put the names of the winners on the website. So if you want to check later that night or the next day, the names of the winners will be on our website, so you'll know. And then but as I said, hopefully we'll contact you that night, and if you're there, congratulations.
And we want to let the people also know that there's plenty of free parking
Yes.
behind the mill. Plenty of free parking, and it's not far walking distance.
Right.
And so it won't be hard trying to find a parking
Right.
space.
And for those folks, I mean, again, for those folks from North Andover, depending on where you live, most likely you'll come down Sutton Street, you'll go over the Duck Bridge, and we're literally, the beginning of the feast is right there on South Union Street, on the corner of Essex Street. The church, a Holy Rosary Shrine, is right there. So, I mean, it's literally a mile down the road.
Really?
You're right there.
Yep.
And I also want to mention a huge thank you to
Yeah.
two of our raffle ticket sponsors, Catadella Funeral Home in Methuen and Trident, a project management company locally. So the two
They sponsored the
businesses,
tickets.
they took
Right.
care of the tickets for us.
Right,
as
they
do
sponsored one of our
each
sponsors
year.
for the raffle tickets.
Yes.
We have many sponsors, many big
And
sponsors.
I'll talk about those if
Right.
you
Right,
like.
and Tony
Yes.
Tony
Yeah.
will explain to you
Yeah.
who they are.
But before I tell you about the sponsors, I want to say one other thing. So one of the things that we decided to do this year is again, not having hundreds of thousands of dollars in budgets. We decided to go, because of the relationship that we've developed with the Franciscans, we decided that we were going to reach out to the neighboring other Catholic churches. And obviously here in North Andover is St. Michael's, which is a very vibrant community. And so Father Dealey, who is the pastor, it has allowed me to write a note of welcome, basically it's an open letter, which is going to be published in the bulletin, hopefully this weekend or next weekend, basically saying to the community here at St. Michael's, who we are, and you're welcome. Please come and participate. Last Sunday, I was given the opportunity to speak at the shrine. I spoke at the 10 o'clock Mass, which was the English Mass, and then I spoke at the 12 o'clock Mass, which was the Spanish Mass. I don't speak Spanish, but Father Francis was my interpreter, and that went really well. But then there's a similar open letter going to be put in the bulletin at St. Patrick's. Other members are going to be speaking over the next couple weeks, either at St. Lucy's, Sacred Heart in Haverhill. Joe Delali, one of our members, and Dave Smith are going to be speaking at St. Matthew's, I believe in Wyndham. And then there is another member, I just can't recall who it is, who's going to be, again, reaching out to St. Augustine's in Andover. So all of the local parishes, we are making a concerted effort this year to have some visibility, personal or through an open letter, saying, hey, you know, we're a faith-based community here in Lawrence at the Holy Rosary Shrine now. We would like to welcome your community, your faith-based Christian community, to our feast. And you know, I believe this is long overdue. We should have been doing this a long time ago.
We should have been doing
definitely.
it. It was a good idea. Whoever brought this to,
we're doing that. We're
very
reaching out.
good.
We're reaching out into the community,
Yes.
and you know, it started last Sunday with me at the Holy Rosary Shrine. And I have to tell you, I've been talking to Father Francis about this for months now, and I said, well, you know, what do we need to do? He said, well, why don't, and my question would be, why don't they come?
Yeah.
And his answer was, because they don't feel welcomed, because they feel like they're not really welcome. I said, well, how do we change that? He goes, I think a personal introduction, a personal welcome, and it went well, and to the fact where at the end, and again, Father Francis was there, he was my interpreter at the end, you could see in the face of those people that were there that they genuinely felt like it was a sincere, open letter and welcome.
Yeah.
And at the end, they stood up and they applauded. And I went, don't applaud me, don't applaud him.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and as the president, and with your support, and obviously I do this because of my love, as you both have. But you know, I'm fortunate enough to lead this great group of great men who work really hard. But at the end of the day, it's all about bringing people together. And as I said, celebrating our faith, celebrating our Christianity, and also celebrating our traditions and family values.
Right.
That's what we're about. At the end of the day, that's what St. Alfio's is about.
Right.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
again, a lot of the good work that we do is through our sponsors, and I want to thank Mark Battle, who again has picked up the baton to be our head of our corporate sponsors. And Joe had mentioned Trident. They're also a sponsor, and Joe Farah from Tuscans has done a great job this year. I'll just read some of the other sponsors: Market Basket, Catadella's, Cody's, the Zappala family at Tripley's Bakery, Altarisi and the folks at Jackson Lumber and Millwork, JG's and Essex Companies, that's Orazio Garosa and Jimmy Piemonte. And again, any questions about any of the details? I know we talked a lot about the entertainment, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and all the activities, is on our website, and that's the word 3, saintsinc.org. So if you have any
You should
questions.
see it below the screen, on the bottom of your screen. It'll be
Right.
on there. You can just go right there.
And if you go to any of the local establishments, hopefully you'll see our poster. I have to thank a lot of the local businesses for allowing us the opportunity to put up our posters, which again is a nice way of us promoting the event. But I wanted to say one last thing, and then see if I know Joey always has some things to say. Is I want to thank the members who work so hard, tirelessly to help put on this community, and I see it as a community event, right? I mean, we take great pride in keeping the mission alive. You know Jimmy, you know Joey. There's a lot of festivals that have gone by the wayside because there's an aging population of people either working on those events or actually attending those events, and it's unfortunate, right? But traditions have to be worked upon to keep them alive, and I think we're doing a really good job. We have 3 new members this year that will induct into the organization. One of them is a son of a member, Joe Madolo, his son, who is a hardworking guy. Joe was involved in a lot of different committees. So it's a sincere thanks to our members, but more importantly, also to the volunteers that we have, and a lot of those volunteers are the wives or the children of our members who are volunteering. So this year, one of the traditions that we have, because come 6 o'clock on Friday, Dad's marching, Mom's working in the cultural tent, and the kids are scooping slush. So the families, everyone's got assignments going on, right?
Yep.
So what we decided to do this year is, and this has been a tradition, but working with the council, and I have to really be thankful of, I have a very good council I'm working with, we're communicating well, is we decided to kind of really elevate this year's family night, which is Thursday night. So on Thursday night, again, working with Father Francis and working with the Franciscans, we're going to kick off the whole weekend with the Mass at 6 o'clock. So if you guys in North Andover would like to come to the Mass and celebrate with us, 6 o'clock on Thursday night, we're going to have a Mass.
September 1st.
September 1st. And then at the end of Mass, under the tent, which is right in the parking lot, once we leave Mass, we will have a really beautiful buffet dinner that's going to be catered by Salvatore's here in Lawrence at Riverwalk. So we have a buffet dinner for the people that are going to be celebrating with us. And then we have a small presentation, and then around 8 o'clock, when it gets dusk, what happens at 8 o'clock?
We light the lights.
And the bandstand.
The street lights up with the
That's right.
bandstand.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a
Beautiful.
tradition they've been doing for a while
Right,
now.
so we
Yes.
light the street, we light the
Yep.
bandstand, and then once that's done, we're gonna go back into the tent, and then Joey McQuarrie, who is a member, who is also a DJ, is gonna be playing music, so we'll have entertainment, we'll have
Nice.
some dancing, so we'll make a whole night out of it. So,
Yeah.
so it really will be like a complete family night.
Right, it'll be
Right.
nice.
It'll be nice.
Different.
Yeah.
Normally we just have hot dogs. Hot dogs and salad
Yeah.
and soda and water.
Yeah.
This year, totally
We're
different.
gonna have a very nice.
Totally
and I have
different.
And I have to thank the council for approving the expenditure.
Right.
And that also allows us, again, to go to Mass, and then we can just go. I mean, there'll be a few guys that'll have to serve, but the bottom line is you don't have to worry about cooking. So everyone can really be with their families
Enjoy
and really
themselves.
enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was really the message.
Exactly.
And we did this back in May, on May 6th, and it was a really successful night. You were there, Jimmy. You helped. You were serving,
serving the
and the
food.
food was delicious.
Yeah.
So on that note, if you would like to also help celebrate, and we were talking earlier about next year being our 100th, we are going to have a party and a kickoff to 100th on Saturday night, November 12th, and it's going to be at Sal's Function Hall. So if you're interested in buying tickets, it's $60 per person, a wonderful Italian buffet, and we have a live band that night. We have a live band. So
And this isn't a fundraiser.
this isn't a
It's just
fundraiser.
a good,
It's just a good time.
that's all.
So if anyone's out there, interested, we'll have tickets available to sell at the feast. In fact, I'm going to give them to you, so they'll be available to sell
Right.
at the feast if anybody wants to go.
Yeah.
So that would be that.
And how much are they, Tony?
$60 per person.
$60,
Six-
yeah.
for that- That's a.
You can't go wrong.
That's a great night out. A great
lo-
meal and a great
Yep.
live band and
Yep.
dancing. So I envision this, and it's business casual. It's not dress up, just come business casual. I envision this to be like at a wedding celebration, right? So
Right.
how people get up and dance for hours and have fun. That's how I envision this.
All right.
So that's that.
And
so
it's November.
November 12th.
12th.
Saturday,
November
November 12th. And as I said, if you are interested, tickets will be available at the raffle tables. Joey will have, Joey and his crew will have those tickets available as well.
Right.
So that's
Wow.
it.
The sponsors.
Yes.
People don't realize, I don't think, how much it costs to run this feast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal, the amount of money. I can't begin to tell you how much it is. But the sponsors, without the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of stuff with this feast.
Yeah, that's very true, Jimmy.
We have fundraisers that support the feast, but we need sponsors, and this is the big thing. And Mark Battle every year does a fantastic
Yes.
job of getting these sponsors, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And I want to thank all the sponsors for helping out with this feast for many, many years. And I hope you're there for a lot more years.
Right.
Right.
And hopefully next year with the sponsors, and then we've put together a grant committee, and we've been very fortunate this year to raise some money from grants. We have a couple really exciting things, but we'll tease you with that down the road.
That's all, yep.
So if you come to the dinner dance in November, we'll kind of tease you with really. But by that time, we'll have some of the plans for next year will be really crystallized. So
Well, our next show for the feast for next year,
Yeah.
we'll explain everything to the people.
Exactly
You'll
right.
be here again.
That's right.
And you can tell everybody about our 100th.
Fantastic.
100 years.
100
Yep.
years.
That's a landmark.
Yep. So,
So, Jimmy, thank you. Again, thank you.
Thank
I want
you,
to
Jim.
thank North Andover Cable Access TV.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to thank Bill, the producer, who's behind the scenes there.
Thank you, Bill.
And I want to thank everyone out that watches this show. Please welcome. And as we say at St. Alfio's, Viva Sant'Alfio.
Sant'Alfio.
thank you so much.
Thanks,
Tony
Jimmy.
Palmisano and Joe Bella. Tony, the president of the St. Alfio Society. Thank you for watching, and I hope a lot of you people come down to the feast if you've never been there. It's September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on Common Street in Lawrence. Hope to see you down there. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Around Town.